So there was some really good reporting from Pete Thamel over at ESPN over the weekend, and I think a lot of people missed it. The Big Ten has gotten itself into a little bit of a problem heading into the 24 season. NBC, 23 season, excuse me, this fall. NBC does not have everything nailed down with the Big Ten in terms of what the contract's going to be. They have the loose parameters of it, but they don't have everything nailed down. And, it's the week that the first games get released. And there's some real I's not dotted or T's crossed here. I want to put this in perspective real fast. The biggest thing to me that's problematic is not necessarily that the Big Ten is going to have to pay back Fox $40 million because because he sold NBC the Big Ten championship game in 2026 without the ability to do so. The big deal is not that the Big Ten is going to have to pay Fox back $25 million for the part of COVID that they did not play. Remember, in 2020, the Big Ten really played a absolutely consolidated schedule. It's the NBC part of this. It's really problematic, and it's a real problem. It's a real problem, and here's why. These leagues are making assumptions based off of where things will go in terms of television, and apparently people are not talking in the Big Ten. So this is a real issue as it relates to the schools, their network partners. This stuff, I have to say, this would never happen in the SEC. I would be floored if something like this ever happened in the SEC because, A, right now, Greg Sankey, he ain't like that. And then number two, in my time covering the league, Roy Kramer, no matter the commissioners, not been many of them, all right? The league and the SEC really is a partnership. And I think the Big Ten acts like they are, but the problem with the Big Ten right now is they don't own their own rights. Fox does. That's a problem. That's a real problem. So there's a lot of reporting here that makes the Big Ten look just not organized in any way. And the new commissioner of the Big Ten is having to come in and try to thread this thing together. One thing that's very curious to me here is, and I have to say, and if you're from Big Ten country, maybe you can help me out here. This discussion of not playing night games in November, I'm assuming it's because of the weather, makes no sense to me. No sense. You live where you live. I've been to Indianapolis in the winter. I would never live there. Period. I think we discussed this a lot over on Dawg Post. I would never live there. It's miserable. And that's y'all's problem. You choose to live where you're at. You're out where you're at, Columbus, Ohio, Ann Arbor, Minneapolis, wherever. It's cold. But you can't really tell the television networks, hey, it's all good till November. No, we still need your money, but it's all good. No, you're not going to be able to. No, we're not Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. We're not doing the night games. Now, to be fair, those schools have somewhat come in and rescued things, but it is hilarious to hear this sort of talk. And we hear it in the SEC sometimes too, by the way. It's insane. The 2023 preview is out. If you've not picked it up yet, make sure you get it. Last year I ran out, so they're going pretty steady so far. If you're getting Double Dogs, you're going to get the magazine included in the packaging. So if you want the magazine, go ahead and grab it. The link is down below. Boy, it's hard to be a weatherman. If you want Double Dogs, you're going to get the magazine with it. So now's the time to act on that. It's funny to me when I hear people who really did not have an understanding of how rights work, of how, I guess, business works. I don't know. But talking about how, well, why doesn't Georgia get more night games? They don't choose anything. That's what the money's for. The Big Ten, you got a $7 billion deal? That's what the money's for. Why? What's so hard about this? Where are we at that we're going to take the money and complain too. No. If you're Georgia, the back-to-back national champions, and you're not happy you don't have night games, that is not the fault of anybody but you. You chose this. You wanted the night. You wanted the money. You took the money. You've been taking the money for decades. You can't really complain about that. If you don't have that agreed to, then what are we talking about? The Big Ten, according to Pete's reporting, that was not all figured beforehand. I don't know if this is a hit piece on Kevin Warren, because a lot of it is. Hit piece is probably, I don't know if that's the right way to put it or not or what, but this is some not good looking reporting for Kevin Warren for sure. But here's some of what was reported by Pete on down the line. I mean, this is such a well written story. I cannot explain to you how hard it is to get some of this information. And I'm going to stop right there. But this is outstanding reporting. He goes on to say, in 2016, when the Big Ten announced long-term television deal with Fox and ESPN, the announcement didn't include all the details. One of the things that didn't get disclosed at the time, nor the new deal was being discussed in recent months, is that the Big Ten Network has acquired all of the league's programming rights acquired all of the rights in 2016 through an undisclosed date. The length of that deal with the Big Ten Network from 2016 is carried through at least the current deal, which has been announced through the end of this decade. So another 5-6 years. The relationship was known by ADs, television executives at rival networks, and league officials, even if it wasn't announced publicly. This was good reporting from Sports Business Journal, too. It said, it flashed out in public at various times, including Sports Business Journal reporting in 2022 that 2 Fox senior executives were in the room when various media companies, ESPN, Amazon, NBC, met with the league about their television packages. What people don't understand, and is becoming more clear now, is that the Big Ten has sold its television rights, not to a network explicitly, but to their own network. That network is owned about 70% by News Corporation. So the Big Ten does not own its own broadcast rights. They have sold it, at least for the next 6 years, to the Big Ten Network. The Big Ten Network is not owned by the Big Ten, not the majority of it. They don't have control of their own inventory. And now we have coaches saying, oh, what? We're playing November night games? First of all, you can't play November. Let me just rant for a second here. You can't play in November at night. Like the Packers play at night. The Bears play at night. Who else? The Pats play at night. The Giants, the Jets, the Cincinnati, Cleveland. These are all outdoor teams that are playing plenty of games at night. I mean, New York starts their games. There's always a New York team that plays a 4:00 game. Now, those rules sometimes have changed now lately because of television, but because of television packages in the NFL. But for years, the Giants played at 4, or the Jets played at 4, or one of them played on a Monday night. Oh, by the way, that would be in November, a Monday night in November, or they played, on a Thursday night, and all these things. So they always split that thing up. So it's cold in November in New York at 4:00. I don't know why it's less cold, say in Minneapolis. We're only talking about one game here a week in November. We're not talking about 8 games. So you just put the one NBC game at night. What is so hard about this? You don't want Rutgers? Well, then why'd you invite Rutgers into the league? You don't want Iowa hosting a night game? No, they want the big names. The lack of vision here, when it looked like the Big Ten was visionary, is pretty shocking to me. It's really bad management. No one up there is talking the way they should be. These coaches are pissed. But there's some naivete here too. If you sell it, they're going to want to put it when they want to put it. And Fox is committed basically to a Big Noon Big Noon Saturday. It's been I don't know how you describe it, anything other than a hit for them. It's great. It's good for college football, frankly. You get a big blockbuster game at noon. Now, that thing's going to get challenged next year when ABC comes into the ball game and puts Georgia-Florida at noon or something like that. Just relax. It's probably not going to be at noon, but it could be at night. So these things, did no one check in with the home office? Did the home office not call the AD at Ohio State, Penn State? Did anyone talk with Izzo? I mean, the Big Ten, I like a lot of the stuff the Big Ten's done. I like Friday night basketball games. It's good with me. They play a lot of Friday night football games in the Big Ten. It's good. Why? Because it's content. Because people like me watch it. I have no problem watching the Big Ten. It's great. It's not great. It's not much fun for me, comparatively speaking, to frankly, the SEC or the Pac-12, because I like how nutty the Pac-12 is, and the SEC is just a better brand. But the Big Ten's done a great effort in putting their rights out there. But look, they're paying basically for 3 schools, maybe 4. I'll give them 5 at most. But we know they're paying for Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. Those are the 3 basics. Although Penn State is not that further away from Michigan State and Wisconsin. Those are the brands in the Big Ten. Those are the teams they're going to have to play at night. I mean, you're already playing 11 a.m. locals that you're playing at night because it's cold, I guess. I don't. But bitch, you want to play the game. Help me understand this. You don't want to play a night game in November, but you are twisting arms behind the scenes to make sure you get home playoff games in December. So is the darkness that's making you nervous? I don't understand. I mean, I'm genuinely making fun to some degree, but I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, I need help understanding better what y'all are trying to say. What I'm saying is they paid you money, and because of that money, you are going to play when they tell you you're going to play, that it's agreed to. And NBC agreed to put your ass on at night. They've already announced some of these games. So I don't know where the naivete is coming from in the Big Ten. I don't know if the check has not cashed, or I don't know, but you better get ready for some of them night games in November. I'm going to let you know that right now.